New York Giants fans, what is going on? You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and in today's video, we're going to touch on everything that's surrounding Daniel Jones because there is a lot of information that is different from what a lot of different people are reporting. Just on Tuesday, Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, they said he was out. Today at practice, Freddie Kitchens, he had some really interesting things to say. But if you want Daniel Jones to start, go and like this video. If Daniel Jones doesn't start and Mike Glennon does, you don't want to wake up Monday morning and be like, damn, if I just would have liked that stupid guy's YouTube video, Daniel Jones was going to start. So let's get into a Daniel Jones injury update. We are just days away from the Week 13 matchup between the Miami Dolphins and New York Giants, and we have some important injury news to get to with Daniel Jones. Earlier this week, he was going to be out. He was expected to sit, but now times are changing, and there's reports and quotes from Joe Judge and Freddie Kitchens that we got to get to, so let's get to it. Daniel Jones, as everyone knows, is dealing with the neck strain that happened on the second play of the game last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a zone read where Jones kept the ball and did like a knee-first slide where he didn't get down in time, and the defender, it was a couple defenders, got a good lick on him. He did end up playing the rest of the game, which I love to see out of Daniel Jones. Everyone knows he is a tough SOB, and I love that he'll play through injuries, and he might do that again this Sunday against the Fins. He was a full participant at practice today when the media was available to watch it. He had the red non-contact jersey on during practice, but he's a quarterback, and that always happens for QBs, so I'm not putting too much stock into that. If Daniel Jones is unable to go, which some people are reporting, Mike Glennon will be QB1 for the New York Giants. But I want to get to what Freddie Kitchens had to say. Pretty interesting. Caught Giants Twitter on fire. He was asked who he expects to be the starting quarterback this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins, and he had this to say. He said, I expect Daniel Jones to come out today and practice, and I fully expect it to be like regular old times. Pretty interesting if you ask me. I don't know why he would say something like that if he didn't believe Jones was going to play, but who knows. Joe Judge, he then had this to say about Daniel Jones. I rely on the information given by the medical team in terms of when someone can go on the field and stay on the field healthy. This is doctors. I'm just waiting on medical opinions right now. And from what Joe Judge said, this will be a medical decision at this point. It sounds and looks like, according to all the videos that we've all seen on Twitter, Daniel Jones looked fine at practice. He was throwing the ball with the ones in individual drills, and he was taking reps with the ones in team drills with Mike Glennon, a 50-50 split. I expect Jones to start, but if he doesn't, it will be a medical decision because the neck injury, and hopefully if Daniel Jones maybe can be the franchise quarterback for the Giants, that's not something you want to mess with. But if Jones, who said he feels good, is ready to go, you got to put him out there. And it would be huge if Daniel Jones can start. This is a game where the quarterback for the New York Giants, whether it's Jones or Glennon or maybe even Jake Fromm, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. The Giants, they have a makeshift offensive line on top of the Miami Dolphins having one of the best pass rushing groups in the NFL. The Giants, they need Daniel Jones back there to get the offense right. He needs to get them in the right protections, and I think he's better at doing that and further along in doing that due to the reps he's had this season than a guy like Mike Glennon. So it would be huge for the New York Giants if Daniel Jones is able to play this Sunday. But if you were the GM, if you were the lead physician with the team doctors, if you were Joe Judge, what would you do? Would you start Daniel Jones because of that neck injury? Do you think he needs to be evaluated to see if the Giants need to take a quarterback in the first round with their 2 picks next year? Get down in the comments and let me know. Would you start Daniel Jones this Sunday? Next on New York Giants Now, a lot of people are talking about it, and yesterday at practice, Joe Judge was asked about Nate Solder versus Matt Peart, and today Rob Sale, the offensive line coach, was asked about it. It's a hot topic right now, and a lot of people and a lot of Giants fans, they want the young swing tackle out of Connecticut, Matt Peart, to start. Rob Sale, he was asked about why Matt Peart is not starting over Nate Solder. He had this to say. Plain and simple, you watch every play when Andrew Thomas was out. Body of work, Nate's the better player right now. And then, following that quote, Rob Sale was asked, what does Matt Peart need to do to get on the field? He said this, go out there and put your hands around somebody's neck and frickin' choke them out. Plain and simple. Pretty aggressive from Rob Sale, but I like it. There's been some reports that Sale hasn't, Peart, that has been aggressive enough, so I want to see that more from him. Then yesterday, Joe Judge, he was also asked about Solder versus Peart. He had this to say: "We are pleased with the way Nate's really progressed throughout this year and how he is playing for us right now. He is a guy who comes out and works tirelessly. Matt's doing a good job of progressing so far in his career." I think that part where he says that Nate Solder is a guy who comes out and works tirelessly is kind of an indictment on Matt Peart. Maybe he's saying Matt Peart doesn't do that. I don't know. But Matt Peart on the season, he started a couple games when Andrew Thomas was out. He started against the Dallas Cowboys, the LA Charge. He started week 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 due to the injury to Andrew Thomas, and he played all right. His best game was against the Las Vegas Raiders when he had the 81 run block grade according to PFF. But on the season, 341 snaps, a 63.6 run block grade, 61.3 pass block grade. He's given up just 3 sacks, but he has given up 13 pressures, and he has incurred a couple penalties. Some mental mistakes is what some people close to the organization are saying is holding Peart back from taking over Solder's starting spot. What has Nate Solder done since he's been the starting right tackle and right tackle for the New York Giants? A run block grade of 62.9, a pass block grade of 48.4. That's pretty bad. The average is around 70 for Pro Football Focus. He's given up 4 sacks and 30 pressures. I think it's pretty simple for me when it comes to Nate Solder and Matt Peart. Matt Peart is a young player that the Giants spent a 3rd-round pick on in the 2020 NFL Draft. You need to find out if he is going to be a player and maybe a cornerstone piece for this New York Giants organization. A 3rd-round pick on an offensive tackle should be starting in year 2 and by the least, which would be next year in year 3. But the thing is, look, if you don't start Matt Peart right now, you're not going to be able to tell if you need a right tackle next year in the 1st round when you have 2 first-round picks. And for that reason, Matt Peart alone should be starting over Nate Solder. You need to get a fair and clean and long evaluation of Matt Peart. You spent a high draft pick on him, and right now, you know what you have in Nate Solder. He's a veteran. He's not going to get much better. He's steady, but he is what he is. He's not the best. He's damn sure not the worst, but he is one of the worst. You can't deny that, Giants fans. And Matt Peart, even if he is at the same level of production as Nate Solder, or just a little bit below, I think it is important to start Peart because of his upside and the things that you need to see from him to decide if he is going to be the right tackle for the New York Giants for the foreseeable future. If you were Joe Judge, who would you start at right tackle? If you think you want, or not if you think, if you want Nate Solder to continue to be the starting right tackle for the New York Giants, go down and type NS. Or if you want the young buck, Matt Peart, to take his reps and get an evaluation and see if he can be a cornerstone piece for the New York Giants, go down and type MP. More New York Giants injury news to get to. This is the injury report following Wednesday's practice. Daniel Jones, he was a limited participant because he didn't participate in contact drills, but he did everything that he could do while wearing a red practice jersey. They're calling him a limited participant because of that neck strain. I think it's 50-50 right now if he will start Sunday. It sounds like he's good to go, but it's in the doctors' and trainers' hands at this point. Kadarius Toney, he did not participate. He was on the side a little bit with trainers. He's dealing with that quad injury that held him out of last week's game. Sterling Shepard, he was a limited participant. I saw him running some routes on some videos on Twitter. He looked good. He looked twitchy. I think he will play this week. Still a little bit early to tell, but he was a limited participant because of that quad. Kyle Rudolph, same as Sterling Shepard, a limited participant because of that ankle. And Adoree Jackson, he did not participate in team drills, but he was a limited participant because of that quad. More New York Giants that everybody needs to know about. John Ross, he did not participate because of the sickness. And when he gets healthy, I am all in on the idea that John Ross should take Darius Slayton's reps. I think he just adds a different dimension and puts more pressure on defenses. Colin Gillespie, the fullback and special teamer, he was a limited participant and he's dealing with that calf injury. Caden Smith and Trent Harris, they did not participate due to a knee and ankle injury. I do not expect them to play this Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. And I want you guys to jump into the comments and predict the score for me. How do you think this one's going to go? Right now, the over-under in Vegas is at 40.5, and that is extremely low. And in our office betting pool, we put in 5 bets every single week. I'm just above 500. I've got this one going under. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I've got Giants 17, Dolphins 14, but I want to hear from you, so go in the comments right now and predict the score for me. And if you're right about your score prediction, I will follow you back on Twitter. So hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_ and give me a follow and send me a DM so I know you came from this video. I love talking New York Giants football, and I love talking about it with New York Giants fans. So go and hit me up and give me a follow, and I will give you a shout out on the next video.